Welcome, Rangers fans, to a coach's show centering on realignment. This morning, Thursday morning at 9 o'clock, the UIL released their new realignments for the district for the 22-23 school year, and that was met with widespread curiosity. Where is Smithson Valley and the other schools in the area going to be? And as we mentioned, I think on a previous show, we moved down to 5A. That's the first time in a long time we haven't been in the highest classification. And with that, as we mentioned, you actually have two districts. Your football is in a 5A Division I football league. There's a Division I and II, and we are placed in a 5A Division I football league. And all sports other than football were simply placed in a 5A league. There is no Division I or II. So as anticipated, that meant that we're actually in two different leagues. It's not, and we don't have the same members in that. In our sports other than football, it is Smithson Valley, and along with our sister schools, Canyon High School and Piper High School, Bernie Champion, Kerrville Tivy, two schools from the Judson ISD, Wagner and Veterans Memorial, and Seguin. That's an 8-team district, including the 3 Comal schools. So all sports other than football will play them in a round-robin rotation that has yet to be determined. So we can't at this point say what that will look like. Football, as we mentioned earlier, has been placed in a 5A Division I league that includes some of the same schools that I just mentioned, but then others who are not. So us and Smithson Valley and Canyon, one of our sister schools, is 5A Division I. That's 2 of the 8 teams in the football league. Joining us in Canyon will be Hayes and Lehman, 2 schools in the Hayes ISD, but Hayes and Lehman. Bernie Champion will be in that league. MacArthur dropping down from 6A from the Northeast ISD. MacArthur will be in our league. Wagner High School from the Judson ISD, and Seguin. So again, Smithson Valley, Canyon, Champion, Hayes, Lehman, MacArthur, Wagner, and Seguin. So 2 8-team leagues, 2 different 8-team leagues. So depending on which sport you're wanting to look at, you got to look 2 different places. The order of play, the order of those games in both spots has yet to be determined. So a complete schedule of the order of games is unavailable at this time. We hope to have that cleared up in the next few days. Our 10-game football schedule has been set. As mentioned earlier, I don't know the order of play of our 7 district opponents, so I'm not sure what games 4 through 10 look like in terms of the sequence or the home or the way. But our non-district schedule has been set. After one scrimmage against O'Connor, who we've scrimmaged for a number of years, we'll open the season with Reagan, a neighbor right up the road, a traditional 6A power. We've had some great games with them through the years, mainly in the playoffs. And so our first non-district game will be against Reagan, and may have a special announcement on where that might be and the circumstances yet, but that's not final. So I can't tell you a whole lot other than we're going to open with Reagan. Our second ball game is Harker Heights out of the Killeen Independent School District. Ranger fans may remember we played them, I guess, 2 years ago in a non-district game, coming off a good season and coming off their traditionally really good another 6A team with a lot of talent and speed that will sharpen our skills for non-district, for our district play that's coming up. Our third non-district game is a familiar foe, East Central High School, a team that we've been in their district now for a number of years. So they're familiar with us, we're familiar with them. Had a great game with them last year, kind of went down to the wire. We were able to pull it out, but so those are our 3 non-district games: Reagan, Harker Heights, and East Central. Again, the home and away sites will be determined later. The next 7 games, of course, will be our district opponents. Hard to say at this point what the sequence is, as I said, but you look at our sister school, Canyon, coached by Travis Bush, came in there a year ago, has made lots of changes, really improved their level of play. They, of course, are always a threat, and not sure when we're going to play Canyon, but I know it'll be a tough game. And then Champion out of Bernie ISD, Bernie Champion, of course, coming off a 9-3 season, eliminated in the second round by an eventual state finalist. So they've had a really strong program for years at the 5A level. So, just kind of jumping out of the fire right into the frying pan. They're we're kind of feeling like we're in the 5A equivalent of that 6A league we just left. Hayes, from an old opponent of Smithson Valley, played them years ago, almost every year, had some great wars with them in the late 90s and early 2000s, and they're just 2 years removed from a semifinal trip. And we know that under Coach Les Goad that they'll be very formidable. And then their sister school, Lehman, coached by Bruce Selman. We haven't played them, and I think we played them twice years ago when we were 5A before, but they'll be on our schedule as well. Coming out of the Northeast District, MacArthur, they've been competing with the likes of Reagan and Johnson and Madison for years, and now they're dropping down to 5A. Coach Kevin Hurst will have them ready. And then Seguin, Coach Craig Daly took over for them a year ago, really has done a nice job of becoming very rugged, physical, offensively and defensively. 6-5 playoff team a year ago, lost to Manor in the first round. And then Wagner, a familiar foe. We've played them in our 6A league for years. They do such a great job. We finally were able to pull away a little bit in the second half last year and beat them. The year before they beat us. And they run that Navy, Army style of option offense that is always troublesome, so we'll have our hands full there. So those are our 10 opponents in football, what the sequence is, and home and away. Hope to have that in the coming days. When it is, we'll release it on the Rangers Network. But that's our schedule for the 2022 and 23 school year, and we're looking forward to it, as are the Ranger fans. And now let's move to our other district, as we mentioned earlier, our 5A league that all sports other than football will be in. And we mentioned earlier some of the opponents are the same as football, but I think most notably Ranger fans will note that we will play Canyon, our sister school, and Piper, the new high school that took some of our kids. So those are two of our opponents. We'll make the drive back up to Kerrville like we used to do years ago when we were in the second highest classification. It'll be good to take that trip and renew some of those acquaintances. And then Seguin, who we mentioned in football, short trip up the road, we'll play Seguin. And then two schools from the Judson ISD, Veterans Memorial, who we've never competed against, and Wagner, who has been in our league. So, and then the closest trip, and perhaps as formidable as any of them in every sport, will be Bernie Champion. So new challenges. We'll be in new gyms. We'll be in new football stadiums, competing against new folks. So that's exciting. But the challenges will be tall. We're looking forward to it. We're going to finish out this year. Of course, we've got sports that are ongoing, some sports that are getting ready to start. And, we got to finish that out. But very soon we'll be tackling these challenges. And we're looking forward to it. So that wraps up our show for today. When these schedules become more complete, we'll put something else out. But for now, we'll sign off and go Rangers.